With the constant development of digital services, the Digital Services Act, also called DSA, aims at upgrading and harmonizing rules in that respect throughout the EU. The main goal of the DSA is to preserve fundamental rights of users by imposing more stringent regulations on tech companies.
The DSA has a very broad scope as it applies to all digital intermediary service providers that are providing the services to recipients in the Union, irrespective of the provider's place of establishment.
Providers must establish a single point of contact for direct communication with supervisory authorities. Then the DSA imposes new mechanisms with respect to illegal content online. Providers must allow users to flag such content, and they must have in place an internal complaint handling system.
The DSA provides for new and far-reaching transparency obligations, notably with respect to online advertising, regarding the terms and conditions, an obligation to issue annual reports, and finally, an obligation to provide an explanation when removing content considered as illegal. The Act also provides for strict requirements to ensure more safety for consumers when purchasing products and services from traders online. Targeted online advertising to users of which they know they are minors or based on special categories of personal data will be prohibited.
So-called dark patterns will be prohibited, meaning that providers shall not deceive, manipulate, or otherwise influence the ability of users to make free and informed decisions. Each member state shall then designate an independent authority named Digital Services Coordinator, and a European Board for Digital Services will be established. High fines for non-compliance of up to 6% of the annual income or turnover of the provider are foreseen in case of a breach.
In addition to the rules set out above, very large online platforms, including search engines that have more than 45 million active monthly users in the EU, will have to comply with additional requirements. They will have to analyze any systemic risks stemming from the platforms and put in place effective content mitigation mechanisms. And, in case of a crisis, the EU Commission may require the platform to take certain response actions.
They need to provide even more transparency with respect to advertising and undergo an annual independent audit. Upon request of the competent authority or the Commission, they must even give access to any data necessary to monitor their compliance with the DSA. And finally, the European Commission will have supervisory and enforcement powers in relation to very large platforms, which need to pay a supervisory fee.
The DSA was definitely voted by the European Parliament on 5th of July 2022, and its adoption by the Council of the European Union is expected to occur this autumn 2022. The DSA will apply 15 months after its entry into force or on 1st January 2024, whichever date comes later. In the end, very large online platforms will only have 4 months after the designation by the EU Commission to comply with their obligations under the DSA.